Hello, everyone. This is Ryan with CRS Labs, and I welcome you back to the second installment of our Khell'Zen playthrough in Stellaris. Where we left ourselves last time is that we had started to colonize a little bit of the zone of space around us in this cluster, and we had met our first neighbor. It looks like we will, at some point, share a border with a United Nations of Earth AI. And to get us started here in the year 2217.06.05, we'll first take a look at what our different civilian ships are doing. It looks like we have an idle science ship, who I think I had on a project before we ended the last stream, and it appears they have finished. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is put them on automatic exploration, and have them kind of continue off in this direction of the galaxy to the secondary cluster. If it turns out we don't have any neighbors down here, this could serve as another spot we can expand to. Whereas it looks like going to kind of galactic north, we already have our first blocker. As it looks like the United Nations of Earth has closed their borders off to us. This isn't entirely shocking because they are a democratic state and we are very much not. You know, we're a theocratic autocracy. That said, one thing I would like to try to do this episode is see if we can get Oblion, as there's a continental world here that I would like to secure. So in the interests of that, we have this construction ship. Let's... do we have another one that's idle? Neither of them is idle. +1 orders. +1 orders. You know what, you're going to abandon your current thing and you're going to build an outpost. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and have time start moving. I'm going to set us to fast. Okay, so we also in the last episode started and successfully finished our first colony, which is this War Prime. And let's see here. We haven't unlocked our first building yet. We still have less than 5 pops. But it's a continental world, 80% habitability. It should serve us well. How are we doing on Sutharia? We're very close to finishing an alloy foundry, which will be helpful because we're only making like +11. Granted, in our policies, we could switch our economy at some point to militarized, but that will hit us on consumer goods, which I don't think we can afford at the moment. But something to think about. The other thing to think about, and I think I've mentioned this a couple of times, is I would really... wrong button. I would really like in our policies to move our... where is this at? Our trade policy to Marketplace of Ideas. Because that will, again, much like the other things we've been doing in this playthrough, it will cause us to make more Unity. Oh, looks like we got our first research event here for this episode. There are signs of activity by an ancient precursor. Oh, we definitely need to do this. The precursor events are important. Let's see, how's our fleet doing? Do we have the alloys? Yeah, let's go ahead and strengthen this fleet up a bit. Get a couple corvettes.
Technology secured.
And we have a technology finish. Looks like our research station output has completed. Let's go ahead and figure out what we want to do. Colony development speed seems somewhat attractive because we do have a couple of planets here that we would like to colonize that are continental worlds. Energy credits would be decent. It would be in service to that goal I talked about before. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the colony development speed for now, though. Looks like both of our factions are pretty happy. We're still struggling on this energy credits front. I think it's going to be that way for a little while as we kind of find our footing economically. Okay. Can we... I don't want to spend more influence there than I need to, so I won't queue that up just yet. Oh, we get a new tradition. So we started last time on our adventure through the expansion tree. So to that end, I'm going to go ahead and select a new life, as that will give us a pop growth speed bonus of 10%, which would be really helpful right now.
Construction complete.
Fleet continues to grow in strength, up to 12 corvettes. How do we compare to our neighbor? Okay, their fleet power is inferior. That's a good place to be, as that makes it very unlikely that they're going to randomly declare war on us. Looks like our stay base is under construction. Cyberx listening post. A1IJ087 is in fact an artificially constructed object, carefully concealed within a thin layer of rock to make it appear as an asteroid. The hollow interior houses an ancient Cyberx listening post, which was used to spy on space traffic within the system. It has long since ceased functioning. That is indeed peculiar, but it gets us a special project, the Cyberx listening post, which, if it's in that same system, we may well go ahead and have our science ship take care of that, as I do want to go down this particular set of quests as quickly as possible. Nope, where's this at? Okay, so it isn't. Okay, cool. We do already have the science ship in the system, so let's go ahead and have them do it. This marker, I believe, is from last time. It's that rogue order that we're hunting down. The Zealots. The traitors. In the meantime, though, I think it's gonna take us a little while to get over there, so in the meantime we're gonna focus on these other expansion plans. Oh, it appears we've had a somewhat negative event occur. Our deep space tracking arrays on Wer Prime have made an alarming discovery. A large asteroid is headed towards the planet on a direct collision course. It should impact the surface, or should it impact the surface, the consequences would be disastrous. The asteroid must be destroyed before it's too late. This is an ill omen. Okay, so we're gonna need to make sure that we're taking care of that. So we'll start the construction on the outpost, and let's go ahead and send our fleet to take care of this asteroid, which I think we should get there in plenty of time, because it's only 2 jumps. And it looks like we've had a technology finish as well in the meantime. Ceramo metal armor. So we're going to need a new engineering technology. The choices here aren't especially brilliant. I think out of these, the one I want the most probably be the hull points, as we're still reliant on corvettes at this stage of the game. We should also revisit our design for those corvettes here after a little bit. An anomaly. By chance, we stumbled upon a faint alien signal during the survey of this planet. The source appears to be a small object in orbit. The signal contains no message. Could it be a distress transponder? Let's go ahead and research that. And we're almost done securing Obalon. It would be nice if we managed to make this our border. I'd be happy with that. We could go ahead and try to turtle up in Arrakis. Maybe build some fortifications there. Archaeological project completed. A closer study of asteroid A1IJ087. In reality, a hidden Cyberx listening post has produced some interesting results. For whatever reason, the asteroid was left behind when the rest of the Cyberx vanished from the galaxy. It remained functional for at least 50,000 years after their disappearance, despite increasingly erratic behavior from its administrative AI. After more than 5 trillion failed attempts to connect with the Cyberx space hub, the AI appears to have suicided by short-circuiting all of the asteroid's systems. That is indeed an interesting find. That's quite strange. Looks like we are picking up life signs coming from somewhere within the interior of this asteroid. This warrants a closer investigation. Go for it.
Attacking enemy vessels.
Looks like we're going after the asteroid now. That was a threatening whir. And in the meantime, we had another event. The mummified remains of a single individual belonging to a previously unknown mammalian species have been found drifting in high orbit over Difta 1. The being is dressed in what appears to be a flight suit, complete with a helmet, and maybe a fighter pilot that ejected in some ancient battle, only to be forgotten and left behind. Our study of the corpse has provided some interesting data. It is a tragic fate. Oh, thanks for doing that, Cody. Hopefully that folks from there will be interested in checking out what we've got going.
Construction complete.
It looks like we're going to be able to handle this asteroid pretty handedly. These events are typically pretty easy to deal with. I've actually found sometimes the station in the system can handle it for you, but I don't want to take the risk. Asteroid destroyed. The asteroid that was approaching Weir Prime on a collision course has been destroyed. With their doom averted, our jubilant citizens on the planet have taken to the streets in celebration. A scan of the remaining fragments has also revealed that the asteroid consisted largely of valuable minerals. We have collected what we could. See, look at that. We help our people out, and we get rewarded with tangible goods. Looks like a small docking hatch leading to the interior of this asteroid is visible at the rim of the small crater on its surface. The hatch was likely concealed once, but has since been exposed by micrometeorite impacts. We'll go ahead and let them research that. And man, we're just getting all kinds of events. Asteroid fauna. Amazingly, while conducting their survey of WPR 0935, the crew of the ISS Aquarius picked up several life signs coming from within the asteroid. There appears to be a colony of large, burrowing, worm-like lithivores within the rock, which has been riddled with tunnels. These unique life forms have somehow adapted to a life in the coldness of space. That is really cool. That's a very different style of life than perhaps you or I would be used to. Let's go ahead and have these ships go back home to upgrade, as it is time. We have an idle science ship. Where are they at? They're over here. Let's throw them... Oh, there's actually an anomaly in the system still, so let's have them take a look at that. It's a level 4, so it may take them a minute. And while they're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and claim Arrakis. And we're going to use that as our fortification system. I think it's great. It gives us a little bit of buffer space away from our strategic resource system, as well as our future colony. And what's nice in this situation is that we're going to have only one bottleneck entrance with our nearest neighbor, which means we can really fortify the border, and there's no real left for them to flank us. Granted, for our fleet to get there is still quite a number of jumps. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in with the fortifications that we build, the station, I will likely include a shipyard so that we can kind of repair and upgrade and that sort of thing. Mostly the upgrading, so we don't have to fly all the way back to the capital just to do that. It looks like we get some new research. We'll pause while we choose. So we can get our off-road trading company is useful. It's good for making some energy credits from the systems that we have colonies in. We could also get farm subsidies for food, which we are down to +6. And food is something we can sell in the market when we need energy credits, which is seemingly a constant concern. So actually, I think I'm going to do the farming subsidies for now. And let's get time moving. Let's check out our capital. How are we doing? So it looks like our alloy foundry finished a while ago, which is nice. We still have 5 jobs open. We still have 7 housing, and our minis are good. So I don't think there's any need for us to build a district at the moment. And we're prime. We don't have any jobs. We only have 1 housing. So I think we need to do something here. I'm going to go ahead and build a generator district. In fact, I may build 2 to set us up for a minute there. As we definitely need energy credits. That is a continued concern for us. And we have unemployed pops, so it's probably a good idea that we're doing this.
Complete.
And we now have Arrakis. If we have enough alloys, let's see what the price is. I'd like to upgrade this starport. We do. This is where we're going to kind of draw our line. One thing that's also nice is we've got some trade value here as well. 5 trade value, in fact. Star patterns. The latest sensory readings from Arrakis showed the star pulsating regularly. But when the crew on the ISS Marinus arrived on site, there was no evidence to support this data. While most of the crew are in agreement that the anomaly was caused by a sensory malfunction, Science Officer Vibia Varius discards this theory. Vibia Varius claims to have discovered similar pulsating energy emission patterns elsewhere, and now fears that something strange is happening to the galaxy's stars. They have charted the course to the nearest affected star. So we can either have this special project, or we can take some influence. I want to see where this goes. Like, let's investigate these pulsating stars. So to that end, let's take a look at our situation log. There we go. And let's track on the map where we need to go. So it looks like we need to go to Gataria, or Gatara. And let's go ahead and give that a go. And with our now idle construction ship, let's go ahead and build mining stations, and then research stations, and the same all along here. Looks like our exploration efforts are continuing in the south. We have found another wormhole. It looks like here in Kied.
Star system charted.
We've had some really interesting luck with wormholes. We had an event on the last episode in Witter that spawned a wormhole when we pulled a mysterious lever, and we don't really know where that wormhole goes. And now it appears we have found another natural wormhole in a system close by that, again, we have no idea where it goes. I do think it would be rather hilarious if these two wormholes end up just connecting. That would seem silly, and yet somehow a little delightful at the same time. This construction ship is now idle. What can we do with it? We could claim this system and get the energy credits, so I think we will. What else do we have going on? Looks like we have a... Oh, wow. Yeah, they do not like us at the United Nations of Earth. In fact, it looks like they've rivaled us. I suppose we should do the same. As at this point, I don't think this relationship can be fixed. We have very incompatible governments, as it were. And one thing that is nice about declaring a local rival is it does give us extra influence. So if they're going to get the extra influence, then we may as well too. Looks like we've had another anomaly. Sensors report a shipwreck of unidentified origin that has been sighted in the orbit of Rentamario. You know what? You go and research that. Tell us about this system. Looks like one of our generator districts has finished. We no longer have unemployment on War Prime. Excellent. I'm starting to think that it may be time for us to consider the colonization of another one of these planets. We have a couple of choices here. We have the continental world in Oblion, which is a 13-size continental world. We have the one in Damia, which is a 21-size continental world. And we have Rulan, which is a 15. I feel like Damia is our next best bet. I mean, a 21-size world rivals our home world. In fact, it may be bigger. What is it? Yeah, our home world's only an 18. So this 21-size world may end up being a pretty significant economic force for us. Ooh, wreckage identified. Our crew aboard the ISS Pomponius Mela report that the Rentamario shipwreck appears to have been the result of an unexpected geometric solar storm. The supply ship suffered a complete loss of life support systems and sustained inoperable damage, drifting until it entered Rontamario's gravity well. There are no survivors. The ship's cargo hold does indeed contain a notable amount of minerals. However, the captain of the ISS Pomponius Mela cautions that the construction indicates design. It is highly likely that the minerals belong to the United Nations of Earth, and they may be displeased should we lay claim on to their shipment. You know what? We just talked about how this relationship can't be fixed. And sure, we could make them happy and increase some influence, or we could take 300 minerals isn't really a lot. You know what? I'm not going to piss them off intentionally. We'll do the second option. That whole buildup was me being like, yeah, I'm going to be a jerk. But I don't know if I'm willing to be a jerk for only 300 minerals. That seems like not a great reward.
Star system charted. Construction complete.
Looks like our starbase upgrade completed while I was talking about all those things.
Complete.
So let's go ahead and add some modules. Oh, wreckage crew returned. Khell'Zen, we have received word of our down supply ship's cargo. We would like to extend our gratitude to you for taking the time to recover it, without the need for intervention. Okay. Truth be told, I think this is a good trade. I would rather get 100 influence than 300 minerals. At this point, it would take us probably longer to get that. I mean, considering plus 63 minerals, plus 5 influence.
Special project complete.
Special project, Star Crazy. The crew of the ISS Marinus has made an unfortunate discovery. Like they suspected, the pulsating pattern observed from Gatra was in fact due to a sensory malfunction. In Cyrus, Officer Vibia Various' head. Science Officer Vibia Various has become delusional, is currently under the impression that she is the protector of the realm, and that the stars are pulsating coded warnings about the coming apocalypse. The crew believes she herself manipulated the ship's sensory data during a psychotic spell. Vibia Various is now in a medical pod headed back to Cytheria, where she will receive medical treatment. Oh, I love this. Thank you for your service, Vibia Various, protector of the realm. That was a pretty interesting little event chain. Alright, so for our station, let's go ahead and throw a shipyard on there and a... actually, let's... We do have some trade value that we could collect from.
Anomaly found.
That's not the most important thing right now, I think. Let's go ahead and throw a missile battery there. And then let's throw a crew quarters, because I think for now, that is the most important place for our fleet to be. We very much need to make sure that these dirty, horrible, evil Earthlings don't cause us problems. Oh, one of our ruler has gained some new skills. What are those skills? Industrialist, Charismatic, Expansionist are the traits. I'm not sure which one of these is the new one, but nice skills that our leader has. Ancient Survey Marker. A small, short-range transmitter has been located on the surface of Khell'Zen 7. It appears to be an ancient survey marker, placed here eons ago to mark a large deposit of precious metals. The miners it was meant for evidently never arrived, as the deposit is still there. Well, that's cool. Ah, that's the wormhole system. I think we're going to end up expanding in this direction, that's really the only way we can go at this point.
Star system charted.
Now, let's see. Do we have enough to do another colony ship? We, in fact, do, and I think we shall. I really want to get that next colony in Damius started. And with this item... Oh! Looks like we're making contact with more alien life. For several months now, we have received scattered reports of small numbers of alien mercenaries and privateers operating on the frontiers of our space. They call themselves the Lox Unglakva, and are apparently exiles from a nomadic warrior culture inhabiting overcrowded space stations in and around the Termeku wormhole system. Their passage near our space proceeded without incident, but they warned us against trespassing in the Termak-U black hole. There is no Laxunglakva central government to speak of, but their various factions are engaged in constant infighting and often launch raids against neighboring star systems. Indeed, given their vast population and space-based production capability, the Laxunglakva would likely be a significant galactic power if they ever stopped killing each other. Looks like we have found more space barbarians. I think I read this the last time we came across space barbarians, so I'm not going to do it again this time. Mostly because I don't want to make these noises. So yeah, more of that. And it looks like both of them are, in this case, are pretty far away. So I don't think we have a tremendous amount to worry about. How's our station doing on the construction queue? Still working on it. Okay, the shipyard's there, though. Excellent.
Technology secured.
A new technology is done for us. The colony development speed, just in time, as we're building a colony ship, our development speed plus 50% is ready to go. So our next physics research is our choice to make. Fusion reaction would be great for our ships, as the next time we do a shield upgrade, that will require us to, it'll take more power. Capacity overload would help us with our economy, though we're actually starting to make progress there. Basic combat rolls would increase the combat power of our ships. And this would give us more output. I think I'm going to do basic combat rolls. I'm a little worried about the Earthlings right now. Alright, so we have an idle science ship who has no leader. And we have no one free. So let's recruit somebody. I don't want to use either of them. So let's just kind of throw this person on there. And throw them back on automatic exploration. Can we do something with this construction ship? We can. Let's build some mining stations. There and in Damia. And you are still working, right? Yep.
Technology secured.
We have another new technology. The farming subsidy's finished. So I think let's get this pop growth speed. Pop is kind of everything in this game right now, as far as the economy is concerned. Oh, so I probably should have brought this at the beginning. Some of you might be thinking, hey Ryan, you may or may not be aware that there is a new Stellaris thing coming out on Tuesday. So what are you going to do about that? So I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to see if it breaks the save game. If it doesn't, then cool, we'll use some of that new stuff. If it does, then for the sake of the series, I'll probably stick on 2.2. And we'll play through the series in 2.2. I'm hoping we can go to 2.3, but in the past, I've had my save games broken by all of that.
Technology secure.
Oh, I see in the chat here, yeah, Cody, I think you're right about Earth. Earth is kind of, tis a silly place. Screw Earth and all of that. And Kat, I see you. Oh, you're hosting us. Cool. I really appreciate that. Thank you for being a supportive friend of us here. Looks like we have our research complete. We have our Corvette hull bonus of plus 100, which adds to our HP. So we're going to go ahead and pick a new engineering research. So we have a number of choices here. We can either get some more minerals, or we can get some more minerals, or we can get some more minerals, or we can get strikecraft. So 3 of the choices are all about minerals. So we really need to think about what is in our best interest with the bonus. Where are we getting most of our minerals? I think right now, honestly, most of our minerals are coming from the orbital stations. Aside from our capital world, our colonies aren't really developed enough to where the mining districts would be that big of an influence. So this 20% for miners isn't going to give us a ton of extra minerals at the moment. Nor is this minerals from jobs, because they're kind of both the same thing. But mining station output 10% I think will have the strongest impact. Plus, if we run into some nebula situations, and I remember to actually do something with it, we can take advantage of that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, let's get time going again. Oh, actually, let's not, because we have a new tradition choice to make. Not that it's much of a choice, as it's kind of a one-fer, as it were. So we're going to go ahead and take Reach for the Stars. This will reduce the influence cost of claiming systems, which is great, because we have some systems to claim. I think once this this construction ship is finished with Damia, we should have it move on. So let's queue up a starbase here in Darasta, and we'll start our kind of southeastern expansion. I would like to claim this particular cluster, and that might be kind of where we, depending on what our sprawl looks like at that stage, that may be where we halt expanding for a little while. We'll have to make a choice about whether or not we want to go for a super wide build. In the meantime, though, our colony ship is finished, so we're going to go ahead and colonize this continental world in Damia, Damia 2, which we'll call Damia Prime. Ooh, we found an abandoned gateway. An ancient subspace gateway has been located near Zublax Ma. It appears to have been built entirely by microscopic nanites of an unknown design. This particular gateway shows signs of having been altered at some point after its initial construction. Its connection to the rest of the network has been severed. Instead, the only valid destination is an uncharted group of stars just beyond our galaxy that has been designated the L cluster by our astronomers. Although the gateway emits a faint power signature, it has been deliberately locked into some kind of maintenance loop that prevents its activation. Until we find some way of aborting this process, the L cluster will remain beyond our reach. Huh. Nanites, huh? It looks like we're gonna have that kind of galaxy. See, Cody, I think your Stargate brain probably has the right idea here. This definitely seems like replicators. Totally not going to be a problem to open that gateway. That's going to be an interesting thing for us to deal with later. Oh, yep. That's in that cluster that we want to take too. A small, otherwise insignificant moon orbiting this gas giant appears to be on a trajectory that will soon result in a collision with its primary. Let's research that. So there's like both a pro and a con to this L-gate situation, since it appears that we're going to have to deal with the replicators at some point. We could choose to get those technologies done and be the ones that open the gate. You're probably thinking like, oh, why would we want to do that? Well, if we do that, the replicators will come out of some other gate and not ours, and be somebody else's problem for a while. But it does still unleash them upon the galaxy. The flip side to that, though, is if we don't do it, one of the AI empires might do it instead, and if they do it, then the replicators may come out of our gate. So it's very much like a prisoner's dilemma kind of situation. Nice, Cody. Yeah. Hopefully it is either an empty cluster or the human replicator. Nice. I would definitely be happy with a human replicator in this situation. Terminal orbit. One of the many moons circling Tigura 1 has a terminal orbit. It will soon collide with the gas giant in what is sure to become a massive impact event. This event has been millions of years in the making, and it is a startling coincidence that the impact has been fated to occur just after a visit by one of our ships. Many of our scientists wish to observe and record the event, but we have only a narrow window before it's too late. So it's going to be one of those like time situation log things, and I think we should go ahead and try to observe it. This is in Tigura 1. Let's check this out. Situation log. It's right here. So let us have our science ship do the thing. There's science to be learned, science to be had. We're also going to want to come back to this broken Cybrex Warforms thing. Our fleet is now on the border with our rivals, and I think we should strengthen this fleet. So we're going to go ahead and build some more of that.
Construction complete.
Some more Corvettes. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Both our construction ships are idle. One of them has finished claiming a system. So what could we do here? I think we should claim
Star system charted.
Difta, because it has some energy credits for us. And I also think we need to claim Sidur. But it's going to take us a minute to get... So we're just going to move there, because we need to get the alloys together. So I think what I'm going to use as my threshold is if we get to like plus 30 or more energy credits, then I'm going to switch our trade policy over and start cranking out the Unity.
Special project complete.
Special project completed. We were successful in our attempt to record the collision between Tigera and its moon. The event was captured from several different angles and transmitted live throughout our space. Most importantly, our scientists, under the leadership of Publius Instaeus, were able to record a large amount of valuable physics data that will surely benefit our research. Indeed marvelous. The science of the Khell'Zen moves forward. Our science ship is now idle, which means we could have this one go for the Cybrex thing, which is what I think we're going to do. We're also going to have this one go ahead and research this anomaly about this defective platform of alien design. And, oh, okay, so we now have enough combat power that we could send our fleet into this wormhole system from Witter. But before that, why don't we give it one more Corvette, just for insurance. And once that's finished constructing, we'll go ahead and go into that system and clear it out of potential enemies.
Construction complete.
I wonder if they're even still here. I don't recall if those AI creatures can travel through the wormholes themselves. If they can, then cool. Maybe they're not there anymore. Alright, so we're going to take our 16 Corvettes, and we're going to travel into the system and see what we find. Our colony is continuing to develop on Damia Prime. I think that world is going to wind up being a significant economic hub for us. It's able to build a significant number of agricultural districts, which will help us with our food production. And it's also got a pretty high... we can also put a lot of city districts in there as well, so it can have some trade value. So I'm pretty excited about the prospects of that world.
Star system charted.
What can we do with this construction ship? For now, let's build the mining stations, and then the research stations in the system. Whereas here, we can go ahead and claim this system in order to get the engineering research. Got some things going on. It looks like our fleet is still en route.
Star
And a
system
focal.
charted.
Archaeological project completed. After studying the wreckage of the two Cybrex war forums over Difta 2 Alpha, Science Officer Publius Instaeus has concluded that they were most likely destroyed while fighting each other. This theory explains the lack of non-Cybrex debris, and it fits the damage patterns found on the wrecks. Why the two Cybrex vessels turned on each other remains a mystery, however. After they were immobilized, both warforms triggered some kind of self-destruct mechanism that fried their neural processors. An interesting find. So we have found another one of our precursor artifacts, and our science ship is free to explore once more. And it looks like we don't have any weird things to send them on, so let's set them on automatic exploration again, as we attempt to remove the shroud from yet more of the galaxy. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put us on fastest for a moment, while we don't have as many things firing.
Construction complete.
Do we want to push for another colony ship soon? Is an interesting question. Let's see. What would that cost us? I forget. So
Technology secured.
we just need the alloys. Now, I could feasibly do some market shenanigans to make that happen. We've got plenty of minerals and plenty of food. So I'm going to look into that. But first, let us make a research choice. It looks like our mining station output choice is finished. So we have more engineering research to go for. And I think the choice here is pretty obvious. We need to go ahead and push for a destroyer. With us having a rival on our border, we need to make sure we're staying ahead on military research. So let us go ahead and do that. And I think that'll make an excellent addition to our fleet composition. And it looks like our construction ship is idle. So let's go ahead and build research stations. And let's address this event that's happened. Thermal-driven outflow. Closer inspection of the platform orbiting Tiamat has revealed that it is a complex of somewhat erratic alien design. The waterproofed machinery and advanced climate control suggest it was built for a life form that secreted a rich amount of fluids, very likely of the musculoid variety. Before falling into disrepair, microwave beams were used to heat regions of the star's atmosphere, provoking large sustained eruptions that increased the solar wind outflow significantly. The energy was then harvested with an orbital mine. The platform is designed around some highly experimental concepts. So we have some choices. We can repair the platform, which gives us an event to do that. We can weaponize the beams, which gives us a different event, or we can do nothing. Where is this system at? Doesn't... Tiamat. Is Tiamat within... Okay, so Tiamat's within the space that we intend to claim. So if we get some special thing out of the system, that's not so bad. At the same time, would it be nice to do something with it with our military? Sure. Let's repair the platform. I kind of want to see what it does. And let's go ahead and immediately have our science ship... Oh, wait, no, we can't. Looks like it is not that sort of project. It's a construction ship project. So we'll queue up having our engineer / construction folk head on over there after they're done with their construction queue. And this science ship can go back on automatic exploration.
Star system charted. Technology secured.
And this one has nothing going on after it creates that research station. I think we should start claiming new systems. I would like to secure this part of the cluster before I go out this way. So let's go ahead and build an outpost over here. We have an anomaly of a class 12 asteroid that orbits this moon. The small planetoid's orbit appears far too stable for its presence to be a natural occurrence. Let's research that son of a gun. And it appears we also have a new physics research choice. Okay, so we have the ability to do mote stabilization, which I think is a good idea, since we have that within our borders. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're getting ever closer to this this red giant system over here that supposedly has the heretics from our early event chain. So I'm a little excited to see what that's going to turn into. Oh, it appears we have a battle to watch as our fleet has finally made it to Witter, and they are fighting against these alien life forms. We appear to currently be winning against them. I believe these are the space amoeba. I think we've lost one Corvette so far. Towed asteroid. For some reason, someone's towed an asteroid into a stable orbit around Eshkui 1 Alpha. The massive engine sections and braking thrusters can still be found on the surface, although they have long since been rendered inoperable. Whoever did this also mined the asteroid for minerals, but these operations were seemingly abandoned shortly after they began. Alright, let's get back to our fight here. I'm pretty confident about us winning this one. Though it is a cruiser-class vessel as a life form. And there we go. So we also have the opportunity here to research what remains of our foe. And we can get regenerative hull tissue and amoeba flagella technologies as a result. Let's research that. Do we have a science ship anywhere close by? Sort of. Let's have them stop exploring and research that, as I do want those technologies.
Star system charted.
It looks like we can put our first building on this colony, our first one. I am pretty much always going to start with a temple. Since we're doing a Unity build, I think it's important for us to have a Unity first approach on all of our colonies that we establish. And one of the special things with us being a theocratic government is that we can build a temple,
Construction
which gives us some extra stuff with Unity. Of course, it also will use some of our consumer goods. So we may need to build a consumer goods building sometime soon. This fleet needs to repair. And it looks like our colony on Damia Prime is almost finished, which is excellent news.
sphere of influence expanded.
We also have... Oh, our colony is finished. And we also have an idle construction ship, which I'm going to use to claim the wormhole system. And our first colony is there. It's looking lovely. And I think... Actually, do we have enough to build another colony ship? Let's take a look. We do. So I'm going to go ahead... We're going to go ahead and do it right away. Let's go ahead and get these systems filled in. So we got a 15 and a 13. I think we're going to go ahead and colonize the 15 first. And I am feeling pretty comfortable with our start so far. We've only really found one alien species that we can interact with in any meaningful way.
Construction.
And sure, they're unfriendly, but we have a pretty solid bottleneck against them. We've found a reasonable number of planets to colonize. We've got an L gate within reach. We've got a couple wormholes. Yeah, I think this is going to work out pretty well. Cyberx Research Station, a single badly scorched module, is all that is left of a Cyberx Research Station that once orbited Orthama 4 hundreds of thousands of years ago. The vacuum exposed inside of the module is filled with the dead remains of creatures that are part machine and part organic. Interesting.
Anomaly found.
Ooh, an anomaly. A very hard anomaly. Let's pause this for a moment. Okay, so this is a there are signs of activity by an ancient precursor civilization on this inhospitable rocks. This is again one of our Cyberx things, so I feel like we kind of have to do it. I know 1,200 days is a long time to have a science ship tied up, but I do believe it is worth it.
Construction complete.
Awesome, we now have this wormhole system claimed. Let's go ahead and build up some of these systems with our construction ship before we go too much further. And then I'll go ahead and queue up building a outpost there as well. So we'll keep that construction ship nice and busy. How are we doing with our factions? So both of them seem to approve of us more or less. So the United as one party would be happier if we vassalize somebody, which I'm not eminently opposed to. The other one would be happier if we did a psionic pursuit, which is something I think we're going to do anyway, being fanatical spiritualists and all. Ooh, let's take a look at this event. Playing with fire. After extensive repairs, the platform has been brought online, and the star is now hurling massive amounts of energy into the cosmos. But the journey there has not been without its hurdles. When the giant microwave beams were first activated, the engineers nearly set off a chain reaction that could have ended in a solar eruption so massive it would have blasted the platform and all systems out of existence. As it turns out, the ancient alien blueprints and manuals were riddled with miscalculations so severe that the platform would have been inoperable. Luckily, the mistakes were caught in time, and the strength of the beams has been calibrated, and the solar wind outflow stabilized. That's really cool. So, solar battle ages for us are mollusks, mushy bodies, mushy minds. I like how it's the same effect either way. I'm going to go with solar battery. That is pretty nice. Energy credits are definitely a thing we are after.
Star system charted.
We continue our exploration outward. We have an idle construction ship. This is the one who completed that particular mission. We could have them... Actually, why don't we assign that ship to go over here? And this one just won't do that task. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and select a new tradition. So we could either do courier network and get some extra administrative capacity, or we can get Starbase upkeep. Neither of those is really super important at the moment. I don't think we've hit the point... Okay, we actually have hit the point where we're starting to get some Empire sprawl. So I think actually I'm going to take that one first, as I think that'll put us back under the cap. Yes. Now, granted, you know, we're at 58, it's at 70. We're going to pass it up again. That's pretty inevitable. But the idea, though, is that we minimize the penalty as much as possible. Though it is not, the cap is not a wall for us necessarily.
Complete.
And our colony ship from before is finished. So we'll go ahead and start colonizing this new world. Rulon Prime. Now we're starting to run negative on consumer goods. And we don't quite yet have enough pops for a new building here. We just need one more. Which, are we growing a pop? We are, but it's going to take a minute. We've got some immigration happening. But we'll get there eventually. Looks like we're still researching those debris. What's our fleet doing? We got 202 alloy.
Hulks vivisected.
Oh, nice. We got 10% progress on a couple of techs. And we got some society research. That is excellent. Let's throw you back on autonomic exploration.
In progress.
And we have our colony going. Our 4th colony. Which is fantastic. We are certainly outpacing our neighbor. Which should hopefully mean that we'll have more pops. Actually, I wonder what they're... How are they doing with that? They've got 42, right? Where are we at?
Technology secured.
Oh, we're also at 42. So we're currently equivalent as far as that goes. I'm hoping with us having more worlds that starts to change. Although, interestingly, we have the same planetary preference, which is going to be interesting. Because if we go conquer them, you know, our people like to live on the continental world. Okay, so we need some society research. We need to get a 20% bonus to what we're making. We can start doing the regenerative hull tissue. But that'll take a long time. We can get the amoeba flagella, which is kind of like strike craft. That'll take a little less time. We get more star bases, though. We're not really using even the cap we have. We can get Fleet Academy, which is helpful for experience. We can get Command Limit, which I don't know if that would help us since our actual naval capacity is the same as our fleet cap, right? Or Command Limit at the moment. I want the Researcher's bonus. We'll come back for the rare techs when they take a little less time. Ostensibly, with the bonus, they should take less time by default after we get that. Because, you know, more research. Two pops here, only one housing. I feel like I want to go ahead and build a city district. We also don't have any jobs, so I want to build an agricultural district as well.
Construction complete.
Alright, do we want to claim a new system? Do we have the alloys? We do, and we have the influence. Let's go for it. Let's start claiming this cluster. We have not explored that. That's interesting. What are you doing? You're investigating. You're going to explore that. Okay. So we have a science ship on the job. Doing pretty good on our homeworld. We're still short on consumer goods. But I think that's okay. If we really need to, we can always mess with the market to get some. We do have an unemployed pop on this world where I'm building the districts, so I'm not super concerned. As once these finish, that should fix that. Okay, so we have made contact with the artisan troop, which is great, because we can spend energy credits to gain unity, I believe. So in fact, let's take a look at what they have to offer. Because again, this is like one of those things we can do to increase our advantage in the production of unity and get more ascension perks faster, blah, blah, blah. So what can we do? We commission an art piece, we become their patron. What does that cost? I don't remember. Oh, it's 1,000 for 120 months, so we get a plus 10% monthly unity bonus and a 20 opinion. I think we have to do it. We have 2.1k energy credits. We're not negative. Yeah, we can afford this. Do we want an art piece, though? Oh, I mean, it's just really just amenities and immigration pool. I'm not really worried about that. Okay. So what's nice about that is, like, let's look at our unity. Can we see our bonuses? Where is that at? I feel like we should be able to see that somewhere. I'm not sure where off the top of my head. If someone in chat knows, they can tell me. But yeah, we've got plenty of bonuses to Unity right now. This is what I am getting at. Cool. So let's continue with time moving. I think we're in the middle of claiming Shakan. Yep, that's constructing. Fixing the unemployment issue by building a district. We haven't colonized this yet. If we have the resources, maybe we just go ahead and start that and just get it over with. We can build a colony ship. Let's go for it. Getting these things kind of all in place in the early game is resource intensive, sure, but it will just increase the amount of opportunity there is for pop growth. And, you know, having 5 systems in their first part of the game is pretty nice. Should give us a competitive advantage against our foes. Ooh, an odd factor. A group of investigators have found a hidden factor in Damia Prime. The building and its state of decay tells of an old civilization. One that excelled at constructing things that stood the test of time. Our population would easily be able to use the facility to add to the colony's production output. Oh, we got an odd factory. How lucky. Let's have them build mining stations. This construction ship is idle. Let's claim the next system. And then let's build a construction ship back in our home system. because I would like to have something closer by to do things like claim Whittier and kind of help out a bit. How's our fleet doing? Pretty good. Let's move them back up to the border. An odd factor. Again, we're back to the odd factory again. The crew we assigned to work the odd factory on Damia Prime has disappeared. We could send a new workforce to take their place, or we could raise the facility to the ground, making sure that this will not happen again. Let's keep it. I'm curious to where this is going to go. I like these sort of event chains. Sometimes does that mean being mean to the populace? Sure. But we're curious.
Anomaly found.
We've got an anomaly on Jabeth. Let's go ahead and research it. And we're in a pretty calm situation now. We still have to worry about these neighbors to the north, though thus far they haven't really proven much of a threat. They're still inferior to us in fleet power, which means that they're unlikely to declare war. We also have a fortified border and a strong fleet. I think at some point we may decide to choose to be aggressive ourselves. We could start making claims along the border, and ostensibly we could eventually demand their vassalization. To get to that point, though, we're going to have to weaken them significantly. So let's go ahead and choose the technology that's come up. So destroyers are finished, which is excellent. That'll be a great thing for us to include in our fleet composition. And this leads to us making a new decision on what engineering research we would like to do. We could get some exotic gases. Get some mining, destroyer, build speed, and crystals. Let's go ahead and get the minerals this time, as we use minerals to make many other things. And I think where we're at is a good stopping point for this episode. I want to thank you all for hopping on and watching us play through a little bit of Stellaris here as we go through episode 2 of our Khell'Zen campaign. And I hope that I will see you all again next week. Catch you later. Oh, and again, this is Ryan with CRS Labs. See ya.